Shabbat Shalom. In the beginning of this parasha, Parashat Pinhas, when at the end of the last parasha, we heard about the Midianite women who came and they brought the people of Israel into the sin of whoredom and serving other gods. Here, God tells the people of Israel to fight against them. And we hear the verse saying the following: צרור את המדיינים והכיתם אותם, כי צוררים הם לכם וכולי. You should be enemies of the Midianites, and you should kill them, because they are your enemies. One of the commentators, the Chizkuni, says something very interesting. He says, from here we learn that when someone comes to kill you, you should stand up, and before he kills you, you should kill him. Hakam lehorgecha ashkem lehorgo. And how can you say that you learn it from here? We have another verse in the next parasha, Matot, speaking about the same war against the Midianites, saying, Nekom nikmat b'nei Israel. Avenge the people of Israel. It's a matter of vengeance, since this has already been. We are after what the women of Midian and Moab did. No, God says you should go against them and fight them, and this is nekama, this is vengeance. So how can the Chizkuni say, no, this is where you stand up because they are enemies of yours, they come to kill you and you should kill them? You could, of course, say that he has something in the plain meaning of the text, since it says, Ki tzorerim hem lachem. They are now your enemies. Not they were your enemies, but correctly, I think, the Ibn Ezra says the meaning here is they were your enemies. But the source of the Chizkuni is a Midrash Tanchuma. And the Midrash says what the Chizkuni says. And this is the interesting work of our rabbis in the Midrash. He has two verses of the same thing. One saying, avenge the children of Israel, vengeance. And the other one says, you should be enemies of theirs because they are your enemies. So the Midrash comes and he takes this first version, the one in our Parsha, in Pinhas, and saying, this is the main thing, that you fight them because they are your enemies. And the Kli Yakar explains this Midrash and explains the Chizkuni as well, saying that perhaps they thought, or HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to say, you have to fight them because they still hate you. They are still your enemies. Your fighting them is not because of vengeance, but it is because that you have to fight them and you have to defend yourself. Hakam lehorgecha ashkem lehorgo, that is the Jewish way of saying you are allowed to defend yourself. And therefore, it's interesting, even though the Pasuk tells us, the verse tells us, Nekom, okay, you should avenge. The rabbis say, no, it's not a matter of vengeance, it's a matter of self-defense. And this is, of course, teaching us something. It comes to teach us that even when the written verse perhaps speaks about vengeance, the rabbis comes to tell us this is not a matter of vengeance. And this, of course, comes to teach us that when we learn lo tikom velo titor et bnei amecha, which is perhaps between private persons, perhaps even within the people of Israel, no, the rabbis come to say you should always try to escape vengeance. There is nothing in this but hatred. You try to produce things that are not hatred. And therefore, we go away from vengeance and we come near to things that are near also to the ethics of this book, of the Torah Sheba'al Peh, telling us that vengeance is something bad. We should say, Tzaror ki tzorerim hem. That's the only way to defend going out to war now against the Midianites. Shabbat Shalom.